Okay, guys. Today's motion sounds like this house prepares a world with a dominant norm of non-expression strong emotions. And I would like to start this debate with the speech of Prime Minister, which will start with your first constructive words.
Alright, hey guys, I'm Umair and I'm here for the government side and I'm for the motion. And so I would just like to start off with the fact that strong emotions, let's just take this to the workplace. So first off, strong emotions will cause professionals to be distracted from their work or any other job that they could be doing more efficiently without any of those. If they were to display some sort of strong emotions, they would react to it somehow, which you could consider a waste of the specific energy, as it could be used somewhere else. Take the example of a workplace manager. If they were to display strong emotions such as love or anger towards their employees, it would only cause nuance to employees affected by it. This is why it should be normal for strong emotions to not be displayed outside of one's house or more informal places. The display of strong emotion itself always leads to something either underwhelming or awful, whether it be positive or negative. As loving someone can be way too much harmful for a specific person, as not always you get exactly what you want or what you expect of someone. Sometimes people just have way too much expectations, or they just drag things so far away. This the exact same is true for anger or hate, as hating someone can be harmful, as well as you could possibly hate someone to harm them financially, or harm their career, or harm them physically in any way. The second point I would like to present is the link with our development as a species. The key point over here is that strong emotions, as mentioned previously, would only drag us down due to emotions, uh, due to emotions causing us harm, or if not harm, then distractions. And if we were all to leave our emotions at home, not only would children be influenced to think more logically, and not by their emotions, adults would also contribute more to their fields, and in short, making us more developed in certain areas, in not just in countries which are not very developed, but also improve our development in countries which are already developed. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you for your fine speech, and I would like to continue debates with the leader of opposition.
Okay. So essentially, what our side would like to say is that strong emotions actually help in communications, in communication, because they essentially, without strong emotions, it's hard to really read the person, or and understand what how they feel about a situation, or what are they really trying to say. Strong emotions allow us to really deepen our understanding of what somebody's saying, and it also makes our communication a lot more, I guess, varied, and a lot more interesting, because without it, everybody would speak in a very similar manner. While with expressing emotions, you really could have different methods of speaking. Somebody could express them a lot more, and somebody could express them differently. They also show us how somebody feels about something. It means essentially that we can understand them a lot more. And essentially, without that, it will be a lot harder to understand what people mean and what they're trying to say. And without strong emotions, everybody would express themselves essentially in the same way. Now, showing emotions also helps. It also helps in making the world in generally more interesting, because without that, if everybody speaks in the same way, every conversation would be kind of mundane, and showing emotions in general makes everybody unique, and that's a very good aspect of that.
Thank you for your fine speech. And guys, is it visible right now? I'm in the timer.
Yeah, it's okay now.
What?
At the
Okay,
stream.
never mind. I just, okay. And to continue this debate, I would like to call the Deputy of Prime Minister. You will have 5 minutes to express your case.
All right, so first of all, I would like to start by saying that strong emotions act as a distraction as they determine what your heart desires, not your mind. Emotions do not have weight as they are simply the feelings of a person towards someone or something. They do not involve any rational thinking as they are built upon feelings. And rationality will always be correct over one's feelings. Like previously stated, strong emotions affect one's mind and therefore act as a distraction in one's life, both privately and professionally. They can strongly influence one's job or studies. Emotions clearly influenced us more than reason mental wise because they have been with us and they are found within a more primitive and deeper part of us in our brains since they have been with us far longer than reason and logic were. However, that doesn't mean that emotions guide us towards our goals. In fact, they further us away as it blurs our visions on things. Mm. Reason on the other side is a acts as a tool with which you can polish your emotions in order to keep them under control. So by that I mean that its reason is the key to allow us to lead a better life. Thank you. That was my speech.
Thank you for your speech. And to the last constructive speech in this debate, I would like to call leader of the opposition deputy.
Okay, hi everyone. So first of all, I would like to start with um, kind of understanding what you said. Um, Omar said something about no emotions and love because of two big expectations. It's very hard for me to understand because, in my opinion, love is very much based on emotion and on feelings towards other humans. And in a world without emotions, because of the dominancy of that norm of not showing them, would be just impossible to fall in love because too big expectations doesn't mean that you cannot have emotions. Expectations are something different. They're just feelings you feel to other people, but they're not connected to emotions that you feel to them. You might think that that person will be good for you, but you love them for who they are and not for who they are not. Also, you said something about harming some people financially. I actually don't really understand that. So could you just clear that up? What do you mean by harming people financially?
Do you want me to clear it up now?
Yeah.
All right. So, in hate, people can harm others financially by, in turn, actually harming their business or something like that. So that's what I mean. That strong emotions will cause distractions or more worldly desires, which are not logical or anything, but just harming somebody financially. For example, a family member out of jealousy or something or hatred, that they are more successful
Time.
than that specific person. That's what I meant by this.
Okay, but don't you think when we are using actual emotions, we can actually communicate with other people on this emotional level, when we actually can talk things out? I think in a world where people are not showing emotions, jealousy and envy would become so much bigger that actually just something might occur. So you're wrong. And also, you said something about heart, not mind, uh, with no emotional weight. I think emotions have really big weight. From what we can see, that actually work with emotions and with norm of showing them around, we can actually see that emotions can harm. They can harm people, and they can actually provide really big um, harms because of that. Wait, I'll stop until she comes back. Okay, I will continue. So yeah, so I'll just say it one more time. So without so heart and not mind with no emotional weight. Um, actual emotions can harm, as one can see in the world with emotions. So emotions have weight because they can harm other people. And that's it from what you said. Also, I would like to add some arguments. First of all, in a world with dominant norm of not showing emotions, children in a very young age, for example, kindergarten, when they're really young, can be alienated from the society of their colleagues because if they tend to show emotions and the kids around them see that they do and they usually don't, and their parents don't show the emotions, and their friends don't show the emotions of their parents, they will actually alienate that kid, and that's very big harm for this kid because the kid is just showing emotions. That's natural. That's what humans do, and people that are just artificially stopping their emotions to coming around of them, they will just alienate this kid. Also, that could lead to very big problem with teenagers because teenagers usually don't talk to their parents, and especially in the world without any emotions showing around, teenagers will have very hard level kind of way to talk to their parents. Let's take an example of a child with anxiety or depression, which are really really horrible mental illnesses. And how could a person or a doctor or even a family member actually recognize or just see that there is a problem? They would have no idea because of no showing of emotions. That kid could act the same all day, could same all night all day for a whole week, and it would be unrecognized that this kid has some emotion. So, to sum up, as my colleague said, Oscar, World with Emotions is way more personally enhanced and connects and with speeches and with talk and with everything. Emotions are really important. They hold weight, especially in love and hate. They hold weight. And by showing emotions, people can see that there is a problem with some other people. Either that's envy, jealousy, and they can talk it out, or it might be mental illness. I think it's really important that we will have emotions, and that world without dominant emotions would be really harmful. Thank you.
Thank you for your fine speech. And to the first speech of analytics, I would like to call a web speaker of the governmental side.
Okay, so my argument I want to defend is that understanding should not be based on emotions. If someone cannot express themselves with words, they must improve the skill of theirs to interact with other people, as in professional environments this is totally not acceptable. And the other problem we have with emotion isn't that it would make everybody mundane. Of course people are not asked to lose their personalities, they're asked to keep strong emotions to themselves, not all emotions. If one needs to express themselves, they may use emotions, however not publicly display their emotions as if they were seeking attention or announcing that you feel this way specifically. You talk about anxiety, however display of emotion is what caused this. The way emotions works with our schools and workplaces, the way it's attached to all it is what is causing this. That is what is unhealthy. So the way our society works right now, and for example take the example of schools, almost everything in high school is attached to emotions. So if someone displays their hatred, or someone displays love to somebody, like I said previously, it is attachment, and it is not always a good thing. It will possibly cause harm. And this is the problem, that our schools and workplaces are too attached to emotions, and we must make it normal to not display such strong emotions, as to keep the places where we learn, we take our knowledge, and the places where we work, make them free of such distractions, and keep these things to ourselves. And perhaps if one does need to express their emotions, do it at home, or do it at rather informal places, not at places where you do not require to show those emotions, or where it's just distraction, or it's even worse, it's causing you harm. That's about it for me.
Thank you for your fine speech. And for the last speech in this debate, I would like to call opposition web speaker.
Okay, hi again. So you said something about personalities without any emotions. Let's take an example. Let's think of a world without any emotions. Like it's not personalities are pretty much connected to emotions on the simplest level as it could be, on the simplest surface. Let's say someone likes to they're very active. They show their emotion. They show their happiness, their anger. You can see that this person's extroverted, and that's really good because then you know if that person could be your friend, or if you like them or if you don't. That's really good. And in the world when everyone would not show their emotions, they would be just quiet all the time, no strong emotions, maybe a little one like a grin, but not full happy face or anger. That would be really hard to make actual conversations and to actually see without even talking to person if you might be like this person, if you might want to become friends. So like interpersonal communication would be very, very harmed by that. Also, you said something about high schools and that emotions actually emotions are the thing that provoke that kind of situation like anxiety or depression. But I think that's not the right way to say that, and it's not the right way actually to explain what's going on. Let's say in high school, two people are in a relationship, and this relationship is formed by emotions. Without emotions, this relationship wouldn't be formed, and that cuts off the anxiety. Yes, but what if you would think of the person like they want to make a relationship with someone? So how are they gonna show their emotions and that they like someone? It's just gonna be just talking to them without any show of love, of anger, of happiness with this person. The signs that people give each other to actually maybe become form a relationship are not text, are not spoken words. They are pretty much emotions. And I think uh, even if something like anxiety or depression or suicide happens after the effect of emotions from some other people, kids could actually show their emotions. Parents could be notified that this kid has a problem, and then it would be fixed because parents would have better relationship with their children, so it wouldn't occur. Thank you very much.
Thank you pretty much for this speech and all the debates. It will take about 15 minutes to adjudicate, and we will come back to give you feedback. I like the way you improve in your speeches and your debate skills at all. So to begin with, I would like to say that to start with the places and basic goal of this round, and I suppose during our negotiation with team that opening opposition wins in these debates, and I would like to analyze like the whole arguments in these debates just to make sure that we understand it clearly. Okay, the first thing I think I heard from opening government is about emotions and that there exists like abstract harms that will be bad for everybody, both in private and career-related life. After that, the one thing I want to hear is that how does it look like? Maybe something I miss in this game. It are some examples of it, like the mechanism, how it works, why it is especially strong emotions which ruin everything. Because in case you say about love and hate, it may be obvious because you put some examples in it. But in case of some willing to harm somebody or something like that, I don't really get why it's especially something connected to strong emotions in every case of it. Because I have this separated things like some hate or any strong feeling, just put anything in it, or and the other object in this comparison is like especially harming somebody, and I don't really get the mechanism how these things are really connected. The things is about development as of people's speech of people. And in this case, I understand that okay, it could be, but the thing I really miss in this argument is mostly about why this exactly happens. Because actually, I had three criteria in this debate. First one, validity of all the arguments and cases. Second, how many people we have impact on, and third one, probability. And especially, I have a huge probability problem with this argument for the reason that I'm not really sure whether people, whether all of people, will start to think logically, even in case we will do this law in our country, or we will state this norm as moral one, because it's also a gap between these things. And I don't really, I think that, okay, there can be some people who will do so, but what about the others? Do we can accept these harms which opposition talks about in case you just want some people to think logically? I'm not sure after this argument that is just justified, because the harms that opposition says is just exist as well in my world. Okay, and actually, it's very good when I heard about goals, because okay, you do this analysis, you try to describe why is it important to do without emotions, but I really need to hear in this debate the way how people get affected by emotions, and how it can be to think rational, how we can like change the way people behave, because we can actually analyze the instincts of animals and the way animals behave when they have like a stimulus and after that reaction. And maybe in this way we can say like, okay, we have like something something usual for everybody, and when we have something and we react naturally on it, and it's something also connected to the things that opposition says, because they say that in our world it exists in this way, and it's something artificial to prohibit people to behave in this way, especially in schools, and that's the reason they do it completely right, because they explain it as well. But in case you do like you do explain in which way it affects people positively and why is it probable, you can win these debates. But I can return to it later after analyzing the speech of opposition. What is important to hear here is the way people grow up. It's actually a good utilitarianism argument, because you combine in your speech all people. You analyze not only children but also adults, and you explain the mechanisms they work between each other, the mechanism they can negotiate and find really good solutions to solve their problem. You show the way that people communicate and benefits they get from it. And actually, the main thing you do really good in this game, you react on the arguments of opening government. You do rebuttal on the second speech, and this also helps you. But actually, the thing you do with law is not really clear, because I don't really get how is it connected to the main topic. Moreover, I don't really believe in these arguments. It's not something I could count as a part of your case. But the thing you say about growing up counts as your case, and is something relevant to this game. But love thing isn't into this debate, because it's like a squirrel, like a non-relevant thing in this debate. And actually, you describe the mechanism to react to the government side, which also works good for you. And what is more, you react on the mechanisms that opening government does about high schools, to describe that maybe it's better to do without emotions in case of high schools. But you also show on the weak speech that even in your case, even with the arguments you have, we still can have good high school, and you explain it using the aims of government, which is also good for you. But guys, what I would like to pay attention in these debates, especially in this game, is that it wasn't totally clear. Like, I couldn't say who will win in these debates without whip speeches. Why do I think so? Why I pay attention, especially at this? Because actually, you had two different worlds with two different aims, and in case you analyze and you could convince me on the web pages that is, even if you have logical gaps, or even if you say not very probable things, your arguments are still more important than the others, because in the case of opening opposition, they describe like treatment gives good idea to show that emotions are needed in our world. But in case government does whip speech and says something like, okay, maybe it's not very probable, but in case it will work out for us, in case there will be some people who really start think rationally, we will win, because for example, people can teach others people, or it will be something like these people will be more successful, so they will teach others, or they will play a role model for others, etc. Just different arguments, and you will show that even in case it's not very probable, but in case it works, it will pay off fully, and it will be better than benefits than opposition says, and it will be better even than it will be more important than even the harms they say. You will win in this debate for only the reason you explained me on the web speech why your ideas are really important, why they work, whatever they are. And that's why we consider web speeches very important in debates at all, for the reasons that they show the uniqueness of your case. Because, in real debates, when we have four teams and two benches, government and opposition, when you play on the closing half, I mean, closing government and closing opposition, you're really lucky because you have this opportunity to do a full web speech and analyze even the case when you have only 7 minutes of constructive speech, or 5 minutes, whichever, you have this unique opportunity to have 5 more minutes to explain the importance of your ideas, which will really help you to win. And maybe to end this feedback, do you have any questions regarding this debate?